What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, for the moment you all been waiting for, Yuriorkis Gamboa, Terence Crawford is squaring off on Saturday, HBO. Great fight, and I'm ready to do my prediction. I will tell you guys this. I seen something today at the weigh-in, and this whole time, or majority of the time, it's a good fight. It's a 50-50 fight, but I was leaning towards Terence Crawford. I'll be honest, I seen something at the weigh-in today when they weighed in. Both fighters made weight and everything. And that almost made me switch my prediction for the fight. And it's the fact that Terence Crawford, to me, looked kind of weight drained in this fight. So he's not a big dude in terms of like if you look at Timothy Bradley. Timothy Bradley looks kind of stocky and full. Like, you know what I mean? He just looks ripped and big. Terence Crawford's kind of lanky, longer. Just he's always been like lean. But I followed his last fights, and I told you even before he fought Bradis Prescott, this dude is someone to watch for. So I've seen a lot of his recent weigh-ins: Ricky Burns, Sanabria, Bradis Prescott, that kind of thing. And for the first time, Terence Crawford looks like he might have had to starve himself or whatever to make weight. He didn't look as healthy at the weigh-in. Some people, this is the thing that's kind of confusing with a lot of people. A lot of people don't read between the lines. Like, you have to look at expression. Like, when they're flexing and shit, you see how much they have in them. You know what I'm saying? They're trying to put on a show and trying to flex for the impose for the camera. I've seen fighters go up at the weigh-in and they look like they're about to flex and pop a blood vessel or pass out or some shit because they're weight drained and they're dehydrated. So he kind of looked like that to me. His face looked kind of sucked in. And again, I've seen a lot of his recent weigh-ins, the Ricky Burns fight, Sanabria or whatever, and he's always been lean and pretty skinny, but it just looked, his face didn't look as full. His muscles, his body, they didn't look as full. It looks like he had been maybe starving himself trying to cut weight or whatever, for whatever reason. So that's not a good sign. That makes me want to switch my prediction. But I'm going to stay true to Terence Crawford in this prediction. Good fight. I want to break it down for you guys. I'm picking Terence Crawford to win via majority decision. I think early on, Yuriorkis Gamboa is going to be at his best. His best highlights of the fight are probably going to take place in the first half of the fight. I think Yuriorkis Gamboa. See, this is the thing why I'm picking Terence Crawford. Yuriorkis Gamboa, I like him. He's very athletic. He has speed. He has power. He's Cuban. And he has an entertaining style. But he's like Wall Street, very up and down. And there's a bad pattern that I've noticed with Yuriorkis Gamboa. That pattern is, in my opinion, he fights to his competition. Like, you'll see him, if you put him in there with someone that you know he respects, like a Daniel Ponce de Leon or Orlando Salido or something like that, then he's going to get up for those fights and he's going to look better. But then there's fights where he's supposed to look good. It's supposed to be like more or less a showcase fight for him, like the fight with Darlis Perez, someone who I think he was undefeated, but he ain't fought nobody. He hadn't fought anyone the caliber of Gamboa, yet Gamboa started off strong and kind of fizzled out and tailed off. And again, to me, Gamboa fights to his competition, which is a bad habit. You're not supposed to look good against elite type fighters or the best fighters in your division, and then guys that you're supposed to like shut out, you go life or death with them. You know what I'm saying? He was on the Marquez Pacquiao 4 undercard and he had a little bit of a tough time. Another thing with Gamboa that I think is going to come into play with this fight is he puts himself in predicaments where he gets these flash knockdowns. I'm not sure he's truly hurt, but it doesn't matter because it's still scoring. People see that whether you're off balance and you fall or you're really shook up and wobbled and then you fall, you fell and you touch the canvas or your glove touched the canvas, so it counts against you. That's another bad habit. He's kind of reckless in some attempts to land his offense or whatever, to the point where he takes too long to get back into more of a defensive position, gets caught and gets dropped or gets knocked down. He's been knocked down quite a few times. So there's a couple things weighing against Gamboa, but he can definitely make this interesting. That's why I said it's a 50-50 fight. To me, Gamboa has a better pro resume, but you can't sleep on Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford is going to be fighting in his hometown. He also beat guys like Danny Garcia in the amateurs. So the kid has a lot of amateur experience as well. Maybe not the same schooling as the Cubans, but he still has a ton of experience. And he's overall a slick boxer. He was getting compared after the Bradis Prescott fight to Pernell Whitaker. Anytime you get compared to a legend, it's definitely not a bad thing, especially a defensive wizard like Pernell Whitaker. So I think overall, the reason I'm picking Terence Crawford, he's the longer person. I think this fight is going to be determined by the jab. And I think Terence Crawford has the longer jab. He's taller, so if he uses his height like he's supposed to, he's going to be able to control the distance. He has pretty good timing. His footwork's there. He can switch from orthodox to southpaw, and it's pretty seamless. He can go, you know what I mean, from in between rounds, or one round, like round one, be orthodox, and then round two, switch it up on you. And his transition in that is very good. So overall, I just think Terence Crawford is the better boxer, like the better overall boxer in terms of just being complete, defensive minded. He's taller, he's bigger. But the thing that worries me is you can't sleep on Gamboa. And again, like I said, Gamboa fights to his competition, but I'm pretty sure he's taking this serious because Gamboa can't afford to lose. He's very inactive as it is, and he's fighting in Terence Crawford's backyard, his hometown. He can't afford not to look good. They're both undefeated, which makes this exciting because you know somebody's got to go. And other than that, it's a good fight. Gamboa is very powerful. He's very athletic. So it's going to be interesting in those early goings to see how Terence Crawford's chin is, to see how he deals with somebody who is not a Sanabria. You know what I mean? To me, Terence Crawford is facing the best fighter he's fought as a pro. That's just my opinion. He's been in there with Bradis Prescott at 140, and he took that on a moment's notice. He had like 2 weeks to prepare for it. So that's another thing that makes me lean towards Terence Crawford. It shows you that he has heart, that he has game, or that he is game. And he was able to take Bradis Prescott's punch. Well, actually, Bradis Prescott couldn't really land anything. And Bradis Prescott's another powerful Latin fighter. He's Colombian. And he was able to nullify that and find a way to frustrate Bradis Prescott. Now, the thing that makes this exciting is Gamboa is not Bradis Prescott. Bradis Prescott has had up and downs with his career after the Amir Khan. He lost to Mike Alvarado, had some other losses. And Gamboa is a completely different style in the sense of he's the shorter fighter, which sometimes people don't realize it. When you're tall, that can pose problems just in itself because he's very short and stocky. And Gamboa is also quick. So it's going to be a different fight. Whereas Bradis Prescott might not have been able to land anything because he was slower. He couldn't corner or cut off the ring well enough on Terence Crawford. He got out of it and frustrated or whatever. Gamboa might be able to land something, and if he does, then it might be lights out or TKO stoppage for Terence Crawford. But I'm going to stay with my prediction, Terence Crawford via majority decision. I think it's going to be that close based on, I think this is going to be a fight that's determined by the jab, and I also think it's going to be a fight that's fought in halves. I think during the second half / championship rounds, that's where Terence Crawford is going to deal with the power better and just overall establish a comfortable lead. But Gamboa is going to look good early, which is going to make the cards a little bit harder to determine. You know what I'm saying? And truth be told, either fighter can get stopped in this fight. And we'll see. Another thing Gamboa has going against him is inactivity. It's one thing to be training because it looked like Gamboa was in great shape, but training and sparring versus actual fighting, it's not necessarily the same. And I've talked to a lot of fighters that have told me, you know what I mean, sparring is sparring, and the actual fight night is the actual fight night. So it's going to be interesting. And whoever wins this, there's going to be a lot of talks for other fights. You know what I mean? They could possibly move up to 140. There's a ton of things that could happen. So I'm looking forward to this a lot. Can't wait. Let me know what you guys think. Do you agree with my prediction of Terence Crawford? I think he's going to, again, just use the crowd to rile him up and do what he has to do. He went over and dethroned Ricky Burns, who I didn't really think highly of to begin with, but it still shows a lot of heart and just mental fortitude with Terence Crawford going overseas, you know what I mean, dealing with the time zone differences and stuff like that to fight a champion in his hometown. So I think Terence Crawford has underrated heart. And it's going to be interesting to see what Gamboa does. But Gamboa, this is a must-win fight for Gamboa, so he might come out vicious, which is going to be entertaining and a pleasure to watch. Let me know what you guys think of my prediction. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Who you picking? Make sure you like the video. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next video, it's Ego, signing off.